again, I've talked about it, just their maturity level. When you have a leader like, Grace Berger, who really sets the tone for us. I mean, she does. And there's a seriousness about Grace that I think resonates in practice, in that locker room. I also think that there's a fondness that they all have for her. And, I think that they want to see her, trust me when I tell you, we have a lot of basketball ahead of us, but I think they want to see her finish, this the right way.
Tom, go ahead.
Well, Terry, you heard my question from Mackenzie. I mean, from your perspective, I mean, you know how it is. I mean, most in a regular season, you'll have a couple games where maybe your
Right.
defense is off, and you have to emphasize that. Between the lines, there hasn't been anything obvious. That hasn't been anything other than up. So how do you handle that? I mean, how does the team maintain their excellence through their practice habits?
Well, I think at this point in the season, Todd, we really tried to shave off some minutes, and I've had to do a deep dive into some things that I'm willing to do less, or maybe it's just change up the duration that we do our drills. Maybe take a minute or two, shave and those minutes off of everything we do. But Mac hit it on the head. We try to be very intentional about walking in there and making sure that we're prepared, and that we're preparing them. One of the things that I am, I like order. I like detail. And so we're very specific going into practice exactly what our intentions are, but what our goals are, for that particular practice. And it's whether it's working on something offensively that we feel like will work against a team like Michigan. And then certainly on the other side of that, we're always game planning and making sure that our kids are prepared defensively. But, at this point, we've cut back as hard as that is for me sometimes. At this point in the season, I know one thing to be true, and as we're here, you want them to have fresh legs and fresh minds. And so that's really been my goal for this group. Now, tomorrow's will be a little bit different. I don't like the fact that we play at noon after such a late game, but we've continued to be challenged in a lot of ways, especially going down the stretch here. And so I know that tomorrow will be a little bit different in terms of what we'll actually get out on the floor and do. But we'll have a great film session with the group. And one of the things that I trust is that they're going to want to know how to beat Purdue. We'll make sure that whether it's in film or whether it's just walk through tomorrow. But to answer your question, that's really what we've done. We've just shaved time off and tried to be more intentional.
Wilson, to your left.
Terry, Chloe was just talking about her improved confidence. Just how have you seen that manifest over however long it's been?
Well, it's been so great to see, and all of us believe in Chloe, our staff, her teammates. I think one of the things that has happened to Chloe is, she's such a great story, and I've continued to talk just about her patience and waiting for her moment, waiting for her time to be a starter and play significant minutes. And along the way, she's continued just to kind of keep her head down and do the work, but also she spent really good time in the weight room, and I think that is done. If you look at pictures from Chloe now to what she looked like as a freshman, her little string bean self coming in here, she's morphed into an athletic, sturdy, strong, playmaker, but elite defender for us.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
In that first quarter, you guys jumped out to an 18-9 lead, I think it was,
Right.
Forcing Michigan to call a timeout. You came out of that timeout. We got a rare look at a full-court press out of you guys. Is that something that you intended to throw in, or?
It was just junk. I mean, it really was. We're not a pressing team. anybody that's watched us, but, Coach Box is always, trying to be clever over there, I think, just to keep other teams guessing. It did catch us in the second half. We kind of got behind Brown, and she threw it over the top to Williams, and we fouled her, but that wasn't the intent. That was, just something that he was looking at.
Kim was in here earlier, and she said her son plays D3 college basketball, and he actually wants to take a look at your film because he loves your offense so much. So just wanted to know what your response to that was, knowing that other collegiate athletes want to get their hands on the Indiana basketball.
Well, that's very flattering. This is a group that has continued, and you guys have watched them. I mean, we're down the stretch here, 26 games into this thing, and you've watched how just how unselfish this group has been, how much they enjoy sharing the ball, how much they love watching each other have success. They understand that our game goals are always to keep the turnovers low and our assist high, and I think there's great balance on this team. So that's flattering. Give our kids credit because they're certainly the ones that make it look, for the most part, pretty on most nights.
I've got a question on Zoom. M.A. Vopel, ESPN, go ahead.
Yeah, congrats on the win, Coach.
Thanks, M.A.
I wanted to ask just about, this streak against ranked teams that you guys have. I don't think anybody's beaten more ranked teams without a loss than you guys. And I know, you do take it a very, very much a one game at a time approach, but to be able to play this many ranked teams with this success, can you talk about what that means for your squad?
Well, again, I just think, you have to give credit to our players and their focus. I do think it motivates them also. And not that the unranked opponents don't. I think, M.A., you and I have talked about this. From the beginning, this group has had lofty goals. And, we understand that in order to achieve the goals that we want, we got to win a lot of games. I always say we got to win all of them, but we got to win a lot of games in order to position ourselves to win championships. And so I think it's just our kids' determination. I think it's their motivation, but I also think that they're laser focused on their goals that they have. And like I said, I don't think they want to let Graceberger down. And so I think that there's a special incentive for us to play these games with the same kind of moxie, determination, seriousness, love that Graceberger plays with.
Question to your left.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. You had a pretty veteran team coming in with Grace and McKenzie, but, you had some transfers that are really strong players that were kind of veterans came in. Mm-hmm. What's it like to see those girls accept them, with their role and come in and play a big part of this?
Well, I'm never surprised when, new young women decide to come in here and be a part of our family because we only, at least we try really hard to recruit the best kind of kids. And, a lot of them, most of them, all of them, have a great set of parents as well. That's sort of been, how this thing has morphed into what it's become because we have great human beings in our program. And I'm never surprised by how they welcome, their new teammates and or recruits and or parents of recruits, just how they handle themselves. Because they're just really good kids, There's just no other way to, explain it. You guys have been around them, these two, but, they're all those 13 kids in that locker room, are from good parents and they're good people.
Question in the back row to your right.
I'm sorry to ask a more somber question, but, there was that moment of silence before the game in honor of MSU and the tragedy that happened there, and I was just wondering if you had any thoughts you wanted to share.
I mean, it's obviously very sad, I reached out to Susie, just to let her know that obviously we were thinking of her and her staff, her players, and certainly the university. I mean, it's just senseless, and I can only imagine. And she's the calls that she has to, take from parents of her players, wondering if their kids are okay. And so, just like Michigan, all of us, we're one big, even though we're we're competitive, but at the end of the day, we're all a family here in the Big Ten. And, our prayers and our hearts go out to that entire university. And, the only thing we can do right now is make sure we're trying to wrap our arms around each other here a little bit tighter, as we move forward.
Well, it's kind of hard to go back to basketball after after talking about that, but I mean,
We'll try.
yeah, big picture now, you have a chance to clinch a share of the Big Ten title at home on Sunday against
Right.
Purdue. Just, the program's first ever sellout. What does
Right.
it mean what does that moment, that opportunity mean to
Right.
you?
Well, the sellout's really cool. We've gotten close, but we've been about 4,000 shy, right, of getting this place completely packed. So, I'm as eager to see this as our players are. I know. I talk about the quick turnaround, but one of the things that I do know is that Hoosier Nation will show up in a big kind of way for us. But it's always special. Senior night is a special day for, especially Grace Berger, and Alyssa Gary will be a part of that as well. And it's always bittersweet, So, but here's what I do know about Grace Berger. There's no softness in Grace Berger. And so she will, if there's any moment that she'll have, it'll be, after the game, but I don't even know if we'll see that, because she knows that we got to turn around and go to Iowa the next week. I think we're excited to see, Hoosier Nation show up for a women's game here in Simon Scott Assembly Hall, what we believe is the best venue in college athletics to support us.